Hey guys, it's Andrew here again today, and today I wanted to show you how you would wire up a set of VDO gauges to work with American Truck Simulator, Euro Truck Simulator, or any of the other projects that the SimProjects Pro Gauge controller will enable through telemetry data. Start off with, need the ProSim or Pro Gauge board. I have the ground and 12 volt wired into a 6-port bus with independent switches, which I'll most likely never use. Just I will wire in a hard switch into the power line, and then off of that I run a positive into the back of the speedometer and a negative into the back of the speedometer also. Now if you're unsure of where to find wiring schematics for your set of gauges, you can go online and look up your gauge, as in mine is a VDO gauge. And we go down here and it shows us different setups. In this one it shows how to use a Hall effect sensor, which we don't have. This one is an inductive sender, which isn't correct to ours. But an electronic control box would be the most correct setup that we have here. Then that shows us, well, pin 4, follow that back is your battery. Pin 3 is in your ground, with pin 8 being your signal. And so we have all that set up here. Pin 4 is your positive, pin 3 is your ground, and then pin 8 is your signal. And we follow a signal wire back, and that screws into our speed terminal on the Pro Gauge. Then after that you will hook up a USB Type B connector and the power jack to the Pro Gauge controller, and then we'll go into the computer and set it up from there, and I'll be right back with the rest of that. Alright, and we're back. Now, as you can see, I've got it turned around and plugged in. In this case I made by myself. I just went to my local ag supply store and picked up the pieces of sheet metal. That's all they are. This one's like 16 gauge, this one's a little bit heavier, maybe 12. And then from there, I used a 2 1/16 hole saw to cut this hole out, a 3 3/8 hole saw to cut this one here out. This one being 85 millimeters for the metric fans. 2 1/16, I'm not quite sure, but I could pull up that gauge over here as well. But in the meantime, this was how you would calibrate your speedometer. Now, I've already set this speedometer up, turn my fan off, beforehand, because I used to use this computer with the gauges before I changed desks. As you can see, I have a new desk. Computer in a case. And this shifter, I'm not going to get into majorly right now, but is from Mega Shifter at Tech Affiliation, or is, who's calling? Anyway, this is the Mega Shifter by Tech Affiliation. I ordered it the 23rd of December, and it arrived roughly the 26th of January, so a month after. But it is so different driving with just a shifter and not having to use my up and down buttons on my Logitech steering wheel to shift. It's odd, it's something I have to get used to still, but it works out well. But anyway, back to calibration. In this speedometer, in the documentation, there's a whole thing about how you would calibrate your speedometer. Now you can't do a test run on this, as you have no way of running a full mile like they say in one of their auto calibration. So you're not able to use that. I ended up using the manual calibration, fine tuning, which is where you adjust your pulse value on your speedometer up and down. So let's say that this was sending out the test mark for 120. Well, if your speedometer only showed 10, you would then go into that fine tuning mode and fine tune it until it showed 120. So you have 0 and 120, your full range of things. But we're just going to go through here and make sure this is still accurate to a point. Now the way you're looking at it, the way I'm looking at it, different angles, I see a little bit different than what you're seeing. So next test is going to be 102. That sits right for me. 84. Spot on. 66. His hand is going numb. That's right. 48. 12. And 3 miles an hour is the lowest range. Anything below 3 miles an hour, it will not pick it up. Alright. So that is that. We're going to load up some... I think we can do Project Cars 2. Yes, we can. Maybe not. Oh, no, I didn't want to close that. Anything you need will be under the Sim Projects folder. You'll go here. Try turning that off. And now, at the bottom it says version 18 is available. You don't have to upgrade to it. It just provides a little bit better firmware and so on and so forth. Bug updates, it'll add support for new games. And so we are going to just run American Truck Simulator. Unless Steam is trying to update it. Oh, close you out. There it is. Connecting Steam account. Preparing to launch. Let it load up here. Just go into my profile. Yes, I used a profile that had a bunch of money on it because I more or less wanted to play with my mods. I've done all the struggling and raking by and trying to get there, but I just wanted to just be able to drive, do whatever I want. But the game does have good economics, except for a 100-mile load delivering $4,000, but that's a different rant for a different time. Oh, we're still doing the pusher cat. Well, we'll disconnect from it. We're just going to set the time to 9. Get rid of the rain, because no one wants to watch the rain. Turn the wipers on here. Oh, that's right, I hit this pole. Well, okay, so we're just going to abandon this job. We're going to drive. We're going to hit F7. Press the button on my wheel, because enter is no longer enter, because I use the wheel so much. Gonna do a little bit more loading. I'm gonna go in here and get this fixed. Nope. Repair. Okay. Exit. Now, we're going to try and get this up to gear. Usually you run all my audio through my headsets. That's why you won't hear anything. Run it all the way up to let it build air, because I guess I ran it into a wall pretty hard. And now if we had the RPM gauge going, you would see that the back and forth of my RPMs, but we should be able to get some speed out of it. doing 2 miles an hour. There we are. We have results. And I'm going to try and shift up here. I'm just going to run this in automatic is what I'm going to do. Controls. Simple automatic. That's just my wheel freaking out over there, don't worry. And now, you see, we're slowly crawling up the ladder here in gears. And take us out to the interstate. And you do have a trip mile, a trip meter. And roughly every 18 miles in-game translate to 1 mile on the trip meter. Roughly. I spent a lot of time trying to figure that out, and that's what I came up to. So we're hitting 30, 40 in-game, my sensitivity steering is set way high, so that's why it's all jittery and jumpy. Up to 50 in game. On a cup car, didn't know that was the thing. I got a speeding violation. This here shows the... Being that my steering is jumpy, this actually works out a little bit better for you all, because you can see the just how responsive it is. We don't need a low gear. We're a big, big truck. Now this is either going to flip the truck or we're going to make it around the corner. There's another cop. The cops are out in full force today. Dropped to 5th low for some reason. That's why you can't use an automatic. It just doesn't shift right when you want it to shift. And it's just like, ha ha ha. I'm going to do what I please. There's 8 low. So, it does work. And it's simple wiring. It's nothing major to wire it, as you saw, until you start doing like all the lights in these. Those I won't run into a bus because it says it's only rated for 3 amps, and I think each light bulb takes maybe an amp at max, so I don't want to run them all through that, then have the chance of burning out that little box, and then having to go through and pull it out and actually rewire them all with butt connectors and spade connectors, and having to put a power supply on it. As you can't wire these lights into the power that comes out of the Pro Gauges, it doesn't provide enough amperage to light them. If you do wire the two together, your needle readings won't be right, as it doesn't have enough amperage to take and give an accurate reading to your sensor here, your needle. So as soon as you went and turned the lights on, they would just jump wherever they pleased. But that's all I've really got for you today. I might make a video later showing once it's done, but that's everything. I thank you all for watching. If you have any questions, let me know.